Good evening, Hawks fans, and welcome back to the Atlanta Sports District. I'm your host, Russell Spence, coming to you directly after a 146-107 victory against the Memphis Grizzlies. I say it was against the Memphis Grizzlies, but really it was against the Memphis Grizzlies G League team and a few players they pulled off the street before the game. They were missing 9 players tonight. Their best player tonight, I guess, was Ty Jerome. That's been on their team all year. I mean, Gigi Jackson shot the ball well. Didn't play well, but shot the ball well. They put a rough group of guys out there. But that does not exclude that the Hawks played very well. A lot of people have been talking about the Hawks' run during this stretch of games where we've played very well, and they keep trying to discredit it. Oh, well, they've played nobody. They've played nobody. Okay, that's fine and dandy. You can play nobody and win by 3. You can play nobody and do like the Magic did tonight and lose to a team with 15 wins, like they did to the Indiana Pacers. But instead, we beat a team by 40. Technically 39. Would have been way over 40 if we hadn't have called off the Dogs for the last 8 minutes of the game. Absolute masterclass on how to take care of business tonight. We dominated is an understatement for what happened tonight. This was brutal. You should have shielded your kids' eyes from what happened on the basketball court tonight in Atlanta. This looked like something out of a history book where they say, this is a torture that has been outlawed since the medieval times. That's how bad we beat them. And it was fun to watch because I'm a Hawks fan and I love when we beat people like a drum. And that is what happened. So, in general, I would like to start the same way we've been talking each game over the last few, where we're going to talk about the key statistics, maybe take a little bit of time for that. Then we'll talk about the offense and the defense. And then, of course, we'll move to player by player, how I thought everyone played. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to get to everyone because we had a lot of people play tonight because we really blew this team out. So I will just mention those guys in passing. But in terms of the key statistics, starting with shooting percentage, we dominated in terms of shooting percentage, especially from 3. We shot 46% from 3 to their 33%. We were 25 of 54 to their 14 of 43. And that included some low-level shooting, I'll say, from Okongwu not hitting very many shots. Mo's jumper wasn't falling amazingly tonight. He hit 1 or 2, but nothing, like last game where he had a really great showing from 3. We also, got some more Dyson Daniels threes that helped the percentage some. But overall, we absolutely dominated in terms of shooting percentage. And a lot of times that is just a great displayer of skill. Which team is more skilled is usually the one is going to shoot the ball better. So when you look at the fact that they didn't have Kemba Spencer, they don't have Santi Aldama, they don't have these players who are good shooters, they're not playing tonight. When that happens, a lot of times you look and say, well, the players they are playing are not making shots. And that's the reason why the field goal percentage goes to the place it went tonight. We also destroyed them in terms of total field goal percentage, shooting 53% to their 42%. That's pretty ridiculous efficiency discrepancy between the two teams. And again, you could put part of that on personnel. But the other part was we were getting amazing looks. The ball was moving very well and allowing us to shoot that percentage. You don't shoot 53% by chance. That's getting layups, dunks, and wide open jumpers. That's how you do that. And tonight we did. We moved the ball from side to side very well. The ball never stuck. There was no hostage possessions from any player on the floor. And you saw what it looked like when everybody kind of bought into what we were doing. There were a few players that had poor games, in my opinion. And I'm at the end of tonight's game, I'm going to talk about what I think about the rotation and things like that. in terms of as we move forward. I understand that in the NBA season, it's 82 games and certain players have to play. You need to play a certain number of guys. But when the playoffs roll around, you got to roll your guys out there are good, that you know are good, that are going to play well. And so I would like to see us, move in a different direction from where we've been going, especially once the playoffs come around. And hopefully we will. So, moving on to the next great proponent of success, that next key statistic, free throw creation. Now, this is an interesting change here because it's a place where we didn't dominate the game. We were 23 of 25, and they were 23 of 26 from the free throw line. That to me says the stat is skewed. Yes, they created some free throws, and they did, but a lot of those were out of control, running through the lane. And a lot of the times where I think we would have gotten free throw calls, we had such a good possession where the guy just went down the heart of the lane with no one contesting him and laid it in or dunked it. I mean, there was a play that's pretty famous in my mind right now where Nickeil Alexander-Walker just literally had the ball. Nobody stands in front of him, and he takes one dribble and goes and dunks it right down the middle of the lane against a team that's playing better defense than they were playing tonight. There's a guy there who more than likely fouls Naw. And so those kind of things where it's they're going no resistance through the lane, usually against a good team. When they realize they're about to give up a dunk, they foul. And so that would create more free throws. So the stat is a little skewed, but we still didn't really hardly lose the free throw battle either. It was just really one of the only key statistics that was even close. Next, we're going to move to rebounding. So rebounding, we won 44 to 34. And we also doubled their offensive rebound number. We had 12, and they had 6. When you are shooting the percentage we were shooting from the interior, which again, we won that, which is another one of those key statistics. When you're shooting that well from the interior and that well from 3, and also you are getting more offensive rebounds and turnovers, which we're going to talk about in a second. When you do those things and you create more possessions, you beat a team by 50. Remember what I was talking about, when you dominate these 5 key statistics, why is it that you win by a lot? Well, it's very simple. You're making a high number of shots. You're also getting more shots than they are because you are absolutely crushing them in the possession battle when it comes to getting offensive rebounds, when it comes to hindering them from getting offensive rebounds, not allowing them to create more shots by getting offensive rebounds. We did that tonight. Stifling someone to being where they can only get 6 offensive rebounds in a game means you are almost guaranteed to win the possession battle in that game. Again, and then you look and you say, we're also shooting a better percentage than they are. We get more possessions and we're shooting a better percentage. We're going to run these dudes out the gym. And that's what we did. And that's what you're supposed to do to a bad team. So when all these people come out and say, oh, well, the Hawks, this winning streak's nothing, I beg to differ. We're showing that we have done something that's very sustainable. Now, will we be able to beat all 5 categories, all 5 key statistics against really good teams? No. But we're proving that we can really put up a fight in all 5. And when you really put up a fight in all 5, then you really put up a fight in the game. And anything can happen when it comes down to the wire. You can beat anybody on any night. You can beat anybody on any series if you can get the games to come down to the wire. The problem with the Hawks has been that we've been getting blown out in playoff series or in the play-in games. We lose the game early, and then it doesn't matter what happens when it comes down to the wire. So this is proving that we have the ability to compete in all 5 major key statistical categories that usually lead to winning. And if you can compete against the big boys in those statistics, you have a chance to win every game you play. That's a big deal. Moving on to the creativity numbers, the assists and turnover creation. So the Hawks had 37 assists tonight to their 20. Let that sink in. We had 17 more assists than they did. That's some beautiful stuff. We also had 12 steals to their 9. They had 23 total team turnovers, we had 11. Usually a good turnover creation game is like 14. When you create 23 turnovers, you're almost guaranteed to win that game. So again, you double their offensive rebound numbers. You demolish them in rebounding. You demolish them in turnover creation. You demolish them in shooting percentage. You demolish them in assists. You demolish them in the paint. And you're basically tied at free throw percentage, but their defense was so bad it didn't matter. That's how you win by 40. There you go. So if you're a coach somewhere or you're trying to teach your kids how do you blow a team out? Win those 5 statistics like we did tonight, and you're going to blow the team out. Every time. Now, moving to the offense, like I said, the main thing that I took from this offensive game was the ball movement was fantastic. When you don't have Jalen and you have to depend on, not having your best offensive player, it's more of a team-centric offense at that point. You have to move the ball well. And again, like I said last night, there was no time where I said, why is so-and-so not touching the ball? And then you look and all of them have given extremely positive, productive minutes because they're all touching the ball and they're all making a positive impact on both ends of the floor all night long, except for one player who only made a positive impact on one end of the floor, which we will get to. So, now defensively, what were things that we did well and what were things that maybe we could improve? Well, first of all, I thought we got cross-matched a lot. That's the first thing I would improve. We would switch and get like a smaller guy like a Gabe Vincent, sometimes a Corey Kispert on like GG Jackson, or a little bit better offensive player, and they would score almost every time. And so maybe don't get cross-matched. Maybe don't allow switches to happen as easily. Let's navigate those screens a little better, communicate those screens a little better. We also had some issues defensively with the Jock Landale at center lineups where they got to the rim a little bit more easily than I would like to see. I do think that it hurts Jock that he doesn't have Mo next to him anymore. When Jock was playing well, Mo was next to him. When he's not playing well, he has Kuminga, and I like Kuminga, but again, as I've said, I think Kuminga is a 3. I do not think he's a 4. He is too small to guard the rim at the level like a 4 for us needs to, because we have 2 not great rim protecting centers. You need 2 great rim protecting 4s. And so Jalen can do that. Mo can do that. Zach can do that. Zach's really great at defending the rim. But at the end of the day, I'm not really seeing that from Kuminga. Kuminga's very good on the perimeter. He moves his feet very well, but I don't really think that he is stopping the scoring at the rim like we need to. And so that would be what I would like to see cleaned up defensively. What we did well defensively was I thought that we started the game in a way they couldn't overcome from in terms of turnover creation. Once we got into this game, really from the beginning, we said we are going to hound your ball handlers. We are going to pick up 94 feet. You cannot get the ball over half court, and if you try to, we will take it from you. And we did, and it led to a big lead where then they were pressing and, taking some of the most absolutely ridiculous shots I've ever seen an NBA team take. That coach has lost his locker room. They are not listening. He's just sitting there. He understands that they're terrible, and they have completely zoned out. And we saw that and then attacked it relentlessly. We attacked their young guards, their Walter Clayton Juniors and their couple of G League guys. They turned the ball over a huge number tonight. We saw the advantage we had. We said we will attack that advantage. We are not going to let you get the ball to GG Jackson. He's being guarded by Mo Gay. He doesn't get to touch the ball now. Oh, well, now you're going to sub in bigger players so that Mo has to guard those guys? Okay, well, now Dyson's on GG Jackson. I know GG had a good game scoring. That was post us already being up by a lot of points. He got those minutes when it didn't matter. He got those points when it didn't matter. When we were in the swing of the game, we had them in absolutely the bottomless pit of despair. And I loved watching it. Obviously, were there things that could have cleaned up defensively? Always. But in general, this was a very wonderful defensive showing. So, moving to the player-by-player section, going to be Pretty brief on some of these. We got Caleb Houston, Keaton Wallace, Buddy Hield, and Christian Coloco minutes. Not exactly great showings from those guys, but they did win their minutes. The majority of them. The only one who was negative in their minutes was Keaton Wallace, and he was only -2. Generally, they played fine, but I would like to see those guys not play when the games matter, and I do think that's the plan, but let's stay healthy so that those guys don't have to play. Moving on, going to talk about Gabe Vincent. So Vincent tonight played 16 minutes. He had 5 points on 1 of 4 shooting, 2 of 2 from the free throw line. He had 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 turnovers, a steal, and finished +4. So Gabe had a rough game, especially offensively. The turnovers were bad. But overall, the defense kept him in a positive way, and he did help the ball move well. I do think that he has a good rapport with Richase so far, and I do think that's helping Richase play a little better. But yeah, I'm not gonna sugarcoat and say he played amazing. I think he had a pretty rough game, and I like him. I think that he would probably play in my playoff rotation, which we're gonna get to, like I said. But I'm not saying he would play a lot. Moving on, we're going to talk about Corey Kispert, the one guy I thought played terrible defensively. He played 16 minutes. He had 11 points on 4 of 9 shooting, 3 of 6 from 3. He had 1 rebound, 1 assist, no steals, no blocks, and finished only +6. Now, when you're playing in a game where we've got the plus minuses that we've got that I'm going to get to in just a second, and you're playing the majority of your minutes with those guys, and you score 11 points, only to be +6 is very telling of what your defense looked like. It was pitiful. And a lot, like I said, a lot of those G.G. Jackson scores came on Corey Kispert after the game was over. We were like, whatever, we're beating you by 50. Like, it doesn't matter. Corey, go out there and get cooked. And that's what happened. And so, again, I don't think I would be playing him. I like Corey. I've always liked Corey. I've talked about that on the podcast. You can go back and listen. I liked him as a prospect. I do think that the problem is that he has this mindset that got instilled in him in Washington where like defense seems like it doesn't matter to him. And to play on this team, defense has to matter. We're not going to be a good enough offensive team for it not to matter. So moving forward, either the defense has got to improve or he can't play. Moving on, we're going to talk about Jock Landale. So Jock played 21 minutes. He had 11 points on 5 of 10 shooting, 1 of 4 from 3. He had 1 rebound, 1 assist. Oh, just kidding. I'm reading the wrong one. 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks, and finished +14. Jock was really bad in his first stint, but then amazing for the rest of the game. I thought he dominated their lack of size. He scored well in the paint. Still is not shooting the ball very well. I do think that the defense was bad. No matter what, like when he was playing, but offensively he was so much better in the second stint that he played. And I just think he really struggles not having Mo next to him. I think that Mo really, really helps Landale. And when he is not playing next to Mo, it gets really quite awful. Do I think that he should be playing if we were trying to win tomorrow? Probably not. But I thought the offense was very, very beneficial tonight. Moving on, we're going to talk about Zachary Richase. So Zach played 26 minutes. He had 11 points on 4 of 8 shooting, 1 of 3 from 3. He had 8 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks, and finished +18. Zach has been really, really, really good, especially defensively for a good few weeks now, maybe even up to a month. I am very pleased with the progression that I'm seeing from him in terms of his defense, with his understanding of the game, and with his rebounding. Oh my goodness, he's becoming such a good rebounder. My thing that I think is changing for him offensively is just aggression. He is just playing more aggressive. He is taking more shots. He is putting more dribbles on the floor towards the rim. And I would like to see more of it. There were a few times like he got Ty Jerome on him, and I'm going, you are a 6'11 maniac of an athlete. Just try to go to the rim on him. If he stops you, if he cuts you off and you don't feel like you can change directions, that's fine. But just try. Let's see what happens, because I don't think that guy can stop you. And so if I was his coach, that's what I would be telling him. but it does seem like he's getting some positive reinforcement recently in terms of, hey, play aggressive, play aggressive, play aggressive. Like that looks like it's being drilled into him. And he's playing well because of it. So I like seeing that. And again, the defense and the rebounding has improved 50 fold from his rookie year. If he has this type of progression offensively next year, then we're looking at a really, really crucial piece to our success. Moving on, we're going to talk about Jonathan Kuminga. So Jonathan played 20 minutes. He had 16 points on 5 of 7 shooting, 4 of 6 from 3, 5 rebounds, 3 assists with no turnovers, had a steal, and finished plus 21. He was pretty locked in for the whole game. He did have one kind of a low effort play that I was like, whoa, now that's not okay. Ball was stolen, and he just kind of watched the guy go shoot a layup and gave no effort to get back. But in general, I thought he played very under control, very within the offense, looked very explosive again tonight, was getting to the rim with ease, made his jumpers, which is a great thing. He does have a weird little hitch in his jump shot, so I wonder if maybe that's why the percentage hasn't been super great for his career. But the shot's going in right now at a pretty decent clip, and at least for the season. And he looks like he got his explosiveness back tonight. The defense was pretty good, other than that one possession, like I said. He was moving his feet well. He's very good on the perimeter, just struggles a little bit in the paint. And I think a lot of that's because paint defense is not so much about athleticism. A lot of people believe that, but it's not the case. I mean, you look at like Donovan Klingen's probably one of the best paint defenders in the world, maybe in the past 20 years. I mean, he is so good in the paint, and he's not some amazing athlete. What he has is perfect technique. He is where he's supposed to be. He goes completely vertical. He uses his extraordinary length, and he affects shots in a very positive way. Even like Wembanyama doesn't have a great, amazing vertical, or Rudy Gobert, those kind of players, they have great technique. And so Kuminga, right now when he jumps, he doesn't jump straight up. He jumps with a little bit of angle towards the ball handler, and that then allows for fouls to happen. And he doesn't really leave his hand straight up. He swipes to try to block shots, things like that. And like his foot placement technique, his hand placement technique, they're just not very good right now. And so in the paint, that's a problem. Now, on the perimeter, that's much more about like how quick are you? How fast can you beat a player to a spot? How like strong are you when they get to that spot? Can you absorb that contact and make them have to change directions? And then if they change directions, how well do you change directions and get back in front of them? That's stuff that Kuminga is amazing at. And so again, if I was deploying Kuminga, I would be deploying him as a 3, because those are skills that 3s need to have, not so much 4s need to have. That's one of the things that makes Mo Gay so good defensively, is the fact that he can do those things. He is super quick on the perimeter, quick enough to guard point guards. And also, he has amazing technique in the paint and does not foul you. And so that's the kind of like, maybe we can teach Jonathan Kuminga to have that technique in the paint, but right now he does not. And so I would prefer to see him as a 3 defensively, and offensively I thought he was very, very good tonight. Moving to the starters, we're going to start with Mo. So Mo played 22 minutes and had 3 points on 1 of 4 shooting. Now, a lot of people would look at that and go, he didn't play very well. Well, let's talk about it. He had 4 rebounds, not a ton. 3 assists, a lot for him. He had only 1 turnover, had 2 steals, and finished plus 12. He wasn't amazing, but he was still very good, especially defensively. He was a true maniac. And that's one of the things I was talking about with a couple of people from last game. I said, every time Mo plays, really you can't guarantee the 16 points like he did last game. When he played 26 minutes and he scored 16 points, you can't guarantee that. He's not that kind of offensive aggressive yet. I mean, I think he is that skilled where he could be a teens scorer per game if he was more aggressive, but right now he's not. But what you can guarantee is that he's going to get like between 2 and 3 stocks per game. He's going to play amazing defense, and he's going to have upper level rebounding numbers when it comes to like the overall statistical category. Not so much like he gets the rebound, but like he had 3 or 4 offensive rebounds tonight where he just like tipped it out to a guy instead of him grabbing it and it counting as a rebound for him. He tips it out. We get the offensive rebound. We score. And you go, yeah, but like Mo caused that rebound. Like I know that it doesn't go in the stat sheet for him. It goes for whoever he tipped it to. But that was Mo's rebound. You know, that sort of thing. He is going to help you win your rebounding battle. He's going to help you win the defensive battle. And he is going to have 2 or 3 stocks every game, if not more, if he plays that many minutes. And so I would like to see him play that many minutes because that's extremely valuable. When you can have a player who helps you win the rebounding and helps you win the turnover creation, you are going to win the game. Moving on, we're going to talk about CJ McCollum. So CJ played 22 minutes. He had 15 points on 5-11 shooting, 3 of 5 from 3, 4 rebounds, 9 assists with only 2 turnovers. Amazing turnover to assist ratio. He had 1 steal and finished plus 31. Really, ever since he's been playing, picking up 94 and playing within the characteristics of the offense that we need, he's been absolutely fantastic. That was a game best plus minus. He's been everything we've needed during his last run of time. Where again, like I said, he started picking up more high up the court and giving some defensive value, and he has been very helpful offensively. He's not as good as Trae Young. Trae Young would be more helpful offensively if we had him on the team right now, but Trae was not healthy, and we were not going to pay him what he was worth. And so having a budget Trae Young right now has been helpful. Moving on, we're going to talk about Onyeka Okongwu. So Onyeka played 20 minutes. He had 16 points on 5 of 7 shooting, 0 of 2 from 3, 5 rebounds, 2 assists with only 1 turnover, had 2 steals and a block, and finished plus 23. Again, helped winning the stock and the turnover creation, helped winning the rebounding battle, helped the shooting percentage at the rim, played very good defense at the rim throughout the entire night, was very good. Not great, but very good, very serviceable, and a great effort by Onyeka tonight. And again, only had to play 20 minutes because we were beating them so badly. Moving on, we're going to talk about Dyson Daniels. So coming off of one of the greatest games of Dyson's career, he had more of a modest game, but still played well. He had 24 minutes with 12 points, 5 of 8 shooting, 2 of 3 from 3. Again, that's 2 straight games where he had 2 makes from 3. And I have been talking about on the podcast. You can go back and listen. I said the components of Dyson Daniels' shot are looking better. And they are. You can go back and watch tonight. There's better arc and there's better back rotation, backspin on his jumper. The shot looks like it is more applicable to success. And that has changed from earlier in the season. That's what I've been talking about all year. If you wanted the jumper to get better, he had to change the components. He finally is. And so now that is extremely exciting to me because I've said it and I'll say it again. If he develops a jump shot, he's Gary Payton. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, and we will have him for $25 million. First ballot Hall of Famer for $25 million is a scary, scary thing for other teams in this league. He had those 2 of 3 from 3, like I said, but he also had 5 rebounds, 4 assists with only 1 turnover, had a steal and a block. It was a massive block at the rim, block and a dunk. Very rare for your point guard /2 to be able to do that, and finished plus 27. Like I've said, he gives you everything you need from every perspective. He tonight, especially even with the helping with a 3-point percentage. I mean, he was awesome. He wasn't as good as he was the game before. Doesn't matter. He still was awesome. He gives you everything you need from your player in terms of your backcourt. And we're going to talk about his backcourt mate. But if you get the kind of numbers we're getting from a backcourt right now, we're going to be hard to beat. We just are. Teams don't beat teams that are getting the kind of defensive production and offensive production from both of their backcourt mates like that. I mean, you just don't beat those teams. Moving on, speaking of that backcourt partner, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. So Na played 26 minutes. He had 26 points on 8 of 11 shooting. He was 4 points better than a perfect efficiency night. 4 of 6 from 3. He had 2 rebounds, 6 assists with no turnovers. He had a steal and finished plus 29. The defense was great. The offense was great. The moving the ball was great. The shooting was great. He was great. He had a great outing. So, that's a wonderful win for the Atlanta Hawks. Now let's talk about, we're coming up to the postseason. What would I like to see in terms of postseason rotations? What I would do is I would keep the same starting lineup. They're playing too well to change it. So Nikhil Alexander-Walker, Dyson Daniels, C.J. McCollum, Jalen Johnson, and Onyeka Okongwu. They're just playing very well together. And again, CJ has fit better in over the last few weeks, and that makes him a playable player late in postseason action. Then coming off the bench, I would have Kuminga and Zach be a lot of primary of the minutes, and I would have Mo Gay be the backup center and play some backup four. I would play my last guy off the bench as Gabe Vincent. He's a veteran. He won't embarrass you out there. He's been on a couple of deep playoff runs on a couple of teams and played minutes in those runs. He knows how not to embarrass you during his minutes and would only need to play a few. That is the 9 men I would go with. Right now, I do not believe that Landale nor Kispert are playing well enough to solidify themselves in a postseason rotation. And if you take a guy like Mo who's playing so well off, or you take minutes away from Zach and give them to Kispert, or take minutes away from Kuminga and give them to Kispert, you are hurting your team. And you will not win very many postseason games doing that. Right now, a little standings update. The Atlanta Hawks are tied for the 5th seed. Technically, we're in 6th because we do not have a tiebreaker against the Toronto Raptors. But in terms of how far back we are from the 1st seed, we are both 12 and a half games back. We absolutely could get the 5th seed. The 6th seed looks within our grasp, but being in the top half of the play-in seems almost guaranteed at this point. Continue to play well. That's all we need. We just need more positive outcomes on the stat sheet every night. Our next game is Wednesday against the Detroit Pistons. They don't have Cade right now. He's out indefinitely, but they are still a very good basketball team, and we will have to strap our shoes up and make sure that we get our headbands pulled tight and all that sort of thing, because that's going to be a tough grit and grind game. It's a very physical basketball team, and they're not going to let you just walk through them like Memphis did tonight. And so let's try to win those 5 key statistics again and walk out of that game against Detroit really, really happy with how we're playing for our team right now. With that being said, please like, comment, and subscribe here on the podcast. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know how you feel about how we're playing. Let me know how bad you think the Memphis Grizzlies are. That's one of the worst showings from any basketball team I've ever seen, and I watched our game against the Sacramento Kings earlier this year, and I didn't think anyone was going to beat that this year, I'll be honest, but someone did. This was a worse showing than that. Like, comment, and subscribe here on the podcast. As I've said, you can hit me up on all the socials. I've got them all at Atlanta Sports District. Let me know your thoughts, comments, and concerns. I hope we continue to play as we have. This is 11 straight wins at home. And above everything else, I hope you have a great day.